Okay, so class today we're going to do some multiple simultaneous activities. So that's why you're at different stations today. You have task cards in front of you that are going to tell you what to do at those stations. Just as a reminder, we've done these before, but remember that in your groups you should not be talking louder than your group member can hear you. No other group needs to hear what you're discussing. It's almost like a secret between you and your group members. Okay? So to keep the noise level down, we need to make sure we do that. Okay, so each task today, we have a card for it, your instruction card, so you're going to read that first. You should have all the materials already set up for your instructions, but basically at this one we're reading a paragraph, then making two pro-con charts about the paragraph that we read. At that far station, you're going to look up some media samples online, and then fill out the Google form that we've used before, but this is a new form. Then at station 3, where Claire and Lacey are sitting, you're going to write a letter to your congressman about a bill that's coming up soon in Congress. And then at station 4, you're going to interact with me, and we're going to have a discussion about another topic. And all our tasks today are based off genetic technologies. So you're going to apply what we've been learning about DNA and genes and RNA and all that good stuff to real-life situations through these genetic technologies. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. Read your task card, follow the instructions, and I will call out rotate, and you'll go this direction. So, from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 all the way back to 1. Make sense? Ready, break.
Definition, can't you not preserve an extinct species?
It's true, yes, it's already extinct. But, so, I have a question for you. They have talked about in science, right, about, they have some really good specimens of woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and newly extinct species, things that like maybe they only have one more specimen in a zoo or in another situation, that they're, with our current technology, our genetic DNA extraction and different things like that, you can bring back species that have been extinct. And so, by using test tube embryos, making test tube embryos and different things like that. So, although we can, should we? What do you guys think about it?
Easier to grow.
I think it could be pretty cool, as long as it's controlled, obviously, so we don't... I just think of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, they found DNA and then they brought them back and people started, like, dying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So what kind of controls would you put in place for...
I guess there could be something about, like, when the species went extinct. I mean, if you just bring back, like, the dodo bird or something, it might be okay, but if you're trying to bring back, like, a pterodactyl or something, you might want to keep it in the combined environment or something.
I don't know, I mean, the ethics of the whole thing seem a little ambiguous to me, because we just don't know very much about that. Like, we like to pretend that we're really smart and we know how to do lots of things, but like we don't. So say we brought back, like, you know, the dodo, or I don't know what, like the woolly rhino, was that a thing that used to live?
Yes, it did.
So yeah, you bring it back and maybe it actually works and it's, you know, some semblance of what it used to be. But then what? Is it like the real thing? I mean, now it's living, you know, hundreds or thousands of years after it actually would have naturally lived, and totally different sort of situation. And, you know, atmosphere is different, food is different. I don't know, like
Do you think it could be important to scientific exploration or understanding of evolution, maybe even, to bring back these species to help study them?
Yeah, I'm sure it would. I guess. Yeah, I mean, could you do that with just like even like a bone specimen? Like, we just find like human bones from like 50,000 years ago. Would there be enough DNA in that to bring something like that back, or would it?
There is potentially, yeah. We'd have to have a cell, right? An oocyte, an egg cell, but viable enough or close enough that it could carry that DNA. So we have a lot of human egg cells, right, that we could use. And so you could carry that DNA through the embryological process.
I think it's too illicit.
And even if it doesn't make it all the way to like birth in a test tube, you could develop the embryo and then implant in a surrogate mother. So like with a woolly mammoth, you could use an elephant as the surrogate mother to carry the baby to term and then have a woolly mammoth.
Which would be kind of cool at the same time.
So what are other dangers or costs to make this technology or pursuing this route, bringing back extinct or even proliferating, encouraging endangered species to be more developed?
I mean, like, could you do this? So you have DNA from other like animals or something. I mean, theoretically, you could do this like with people too, right? Like they could take my DNA and then like grow another copy of me in a test tube. And that seems kind of
cloning.
Yeah, like cloning. That seems kind of weird. So like maybe where does it stop? That's a slippery slope argument, which is always kind of a bad argument to make. But you know, like we start bringing things back to life, and then I need a kidney, so like it clone me, and then like I'll take a kidney from my clone or something, you know. So there could be a lot of issues that we're not really exploring. But
what are the possible benefits of this technology or these uses to science or the world at large?
I think we could definitely understand a lot more about evolution through this. And I guess it's an interesting thing. We could bring back species that we've lost within the last 100 years.
Just eat a banana.
archaeologists or whoever this is like they reconstructed from the fossil record, like, oh, we think this is how they would have lived.
That's easy for children or for developing countries.
If you have one, you can see what it would have done. You know, how close is it to actually?
And it's not the infectious part, it's actually the...
refine the predictive
proteins.
So it's
not... Yeah, so you don't risk actually giving people the disease.
Any other ideas? Pros and cons or benefits?
I'll speak to bulimic levels. It would have been nice, like they cite like what the pros are, but they just say they don't exist. They don't offer any evidence to back up their claims. Controvert with contradicting studies, simply saying this study's wrong.
Because you notice also the lack of any specific figures. They also say a significant majority or many or virtually all, whereas they never give us a percentage or something that we can be pinned down on.
Yeah, it's something that would actually come out from an actual study and actual numbers.
About
a burger, because,
bill.
you know, if you've ever done a study,
Getting
you get
very
numbers.
Weasel words. Mostly, in a lot of cases, sometimes, we even say anything and have it be correct.
15 seconds!
Definitely some of it, not
Set
all
your
of it.
station up for the next group to come. Be ready. And rotate.
Listen to the instructions given at the beginning of the...
Right over here.
Oh, acting for
Colors.
my penmanship.
Everybody got where they're supposed to be.
Hey guys!
How are you doing, Lacey and Claire? Okay, good. So, for our discussion in our station, we're going to talk about some extinct species and the fact that we have the technology to bring them back.
The right it's backwards.
So, with our DNA technology that we have, we can extract DNA from like old samples, woolly mammoths, even recent extinctions like dodo birds, saber-tooth tigers, all this fun stuff. So you can extract DNA, implant it in a related species egg, an ovary, ovum, an egg, and then either grow it all the way through an embryonic process in a test tube, or you can implant that embryo into a surrogate mother and then have them bring the extinct species basically back to life. Yeah, so it's kind of a cool technology, an interesting ability, but the question is, though we can do this, should we be allowed to do this? Should we? Probably not. Why do you say probably not?
because most of the time they're extinct for a reason.
Okay.
So I mean, natural selection.
That's true.
And usually, like, especially since so much time has passed, is our environment going to be able to sustain their lives?
Right.
So,
Good. That's a good point.
Lacey, what do you think?
Well, that's a good point. As far as if they didn't survive back then, what makes us think they're going to continue to survive here? As far as we have just so many resources that should we be spending it on, helping people in third world countries versus bringing back animals that, I don't know, like...
Extinct animals. That's a good idea. Cool. What if you bring it back in a controlled environment where maybe a zoo or, build a enclosure in the Arctic for woolly mammoths? Something where they would be guaranteed to survive. Would you still stick to the belief that
I think it would still depend on resources, like you said. I mean, are they taking, if we put them in the Arctic, are they taking away from, like, the food supply of other animals? Is it going to impact our, like, what's the system?
ecosystem?
Ecosystem.
Yeah. Way to tie it into our next unit. Good.
I mean, you have to think of the impacts not only on your environment, but also on the other animals.
Right, yeah.
So, if it didn't have that much of an impact, I would say maybe. Especially if we as the United States use it as sort of a thing for, like, more revenues from other countries.
Oh, yeah. To come and study our extinct animals that are no longer extinct.
Exactly. So, that, I don't know.
So if it was put in place to fund other projects, that would be helpful kind of thing. I don't know if you'd make a lot of money on that, but...
I think a lot of people would pay money to see a woolly mammoth alive.
So what could be some other benefits of bringing back these extinct species? Or costs, even, of bringing them back?
We could learn more about the past as far as how they act and stuff. Like, stuff where things we just guess, like we think that's how it was. I think we should see how they act with one another.
Getting the right amount of virus.
I would agree with Lacey. Just kind of fill in some blanks that we have. And maybe it would teach us more about
the bite
animals
doesn't
that
work
we
compared to
have.
the banana.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
like the vaccination just like
So fill in some of the evolutionary blanks, right? Steps of evolution.
It seems like that'd be a
What are some other costs?
That's a good point. Like, it seems kind of random how much of the vaccine you would actually end up getting.
yeah.
Where do they live?
Maybe.
They lived in the Arctic, during the Ice Age.
Because usually to get a vaccine,
We are debating over whether
record that you got something.
to use genetic
So by getting all three of our letters
We
together,
can justify
or weight
bringing
or
species,
names, the way that college works is they're elected to represent.
By
By letting them know what our ideas are, how we better represent
Modified banana
our beliefs and what we believe should be done.
Yeah. You have to like mess up like which bananas.
3.6. Our vote will succeed. Your handwriting is much better and more legible than mine.
Can we close them? I thought we already did close them.
Right now, you'll forget how to read it after an hour.
Discuss the costs and benefits of this decision, the idea of bringing back extinct species. We're going to move on to our ecology unit in the future, and we're actually going to come back to this question after you know a little bit more about ecological impact and the things that could happen with that.
I guess I could be a pro.
Do you have any questions, any follow-up questions about our DNA
never
unit
eat like
before we
banana
move on?
orange if you looked
This is
at
kind of
it.
a wrap-up step.
If you went back like 100 years ago.
on the side.